It's a hot day, so this is just a part 2 wrap up. Dogs want to have nothing to do with being out in this sun, except for Freya. She doesn't mind. Anubis, he's got the wrong color for this. But anyway, it's a hot day out here. So after the collapse of the towers, I've figured out what I want to do. And so what I'm going to do with these guys is just separate them. So one of the problems is the dogs got underneath there and they were able to dig out the foundation because they like sleeping in the shade under there. So I'm rebuilding it. I'm using mostly rocks from the sifting I'm doing with the rock separator, putting the heavier rocks over here. That's creating more of a foundation. I'm probably going to cover it up to about midway so the center blocks can't move, so this thing can't fall. The other problem, they were too close together, so now they're 2 lengths apart, so this thing can fall if one does fall. I mean, we do get high winds up here. I don't think it'll ever happen again. I think I learned my lesson, and delaying doing what I probably should have made more of a priority in the collapse. But anyway, they're spaced so far apart that if that one falls, it won't hit the other one. So if we have a disaster, it won't be total. In terms of automation, we did lose a lot of water, probably 100, 200 gallons when it fell. I'm probably going to put a flow sensor on here at the lowest point. So the flow sensor will tell me how much water escaped, and if water is escaping at a high rate or more than say 50 gallons in an hour period, then I know that a disaster occurred. Then it'll close off the solenoid to stop water from leaving these containments. And so that's kind of back with the point that everything you want to do, you want to try to make an automated solution. We want to be as smart as the farmers who came before us. They didn't do things over and over and over. They figured out ways to do them better, and that's what we need to do. And I need to fix this dripping pipe here. That's because the water's flowing, and this pipe burst a little bit, cracked a little bit when the disaster occurred and that sucker fell. So right now I'm just reclaiming that water. You got to reuse the water. That's the other thing I wanted to say. And so all the water that was in this tote here that fell and drained out, we lost about 100 or 200 gallons. The rest of it I pumped out and I stood her back up. All that water is being used at the rock station, and that's what actually is allowing me to use water to clean off the rocks, to use them in the aquaponics system. And so everything is being utilized. And so you can kind of see back over to the rock separator, and this will be a good enough update if I can actually turn the camera around. But it's so bright out here, I can't. So there's a rock separator. So, throwing rocks on top, of course, leaves the bigger rocks on top. The aquaponic rocks or gravel will be there, and under the bottom is a fine powder. And so that we'll be using. I think I got to separate it one more time to separate the clay from the really, really little rocks. But it all feeds together. And what I'm using to fill this up is actually that I'm doing for the kitchen. So now that a lot of things are planted, I've gotten to a point where I can go back to working on the house a little bit. And work on for the moment is right here. All of that dirt's got to get excavated right here. This whole corner here is where the kitchen is going to be. So for right now, I'm just kind of making do. I don't know if you guys can see that. So if you can imagine, so there's a grow bed there that's filling out, which isn't doing bad. The kitchen will go on that corner, so all that dirt's coming out and that's being separated. I'm using everything that I'm separating, and even the water after I'm done cleaning the rocks, it just goes into the trees in the garden bed. Garden here is growing well. Got a banana down there. I'm eating from these tomatoes all day. She's not ready yet. We'll take her off tomorrow. I've got the Drosera down there. You've got Monstera. You've got the avocado, which wasn't doing too great. But now that I put the drip watering system in here, you can see all the new buds that are coming out. So she's been through a lot of struggles and trials, and you can see how she's really gotten beat up from the heat. But now I've got the drip line in here. She's responding. She'll be fine. The lemon back there is fine. The lime, there's another banana back there. There's romaine. There's lettuce growing everywhere. So everyone's responding well to that. I even got some lemon verbena. So in here, things are growing great. They're filling out. I need to fill up the upper area up here with plants. I'm not going to do that yet until I get some of the cob work done up there, because I need to be able to get up there cob it, you know, almost to the ceiling, if not to the ceiling, but I can't get up there if it's overplanted. Everything else is going great. The koi are doing good. There are about 50 tilapia in there, and they're doing great. They're getting big. The biggest tilapia, I think, is probably about 2 inches or so. And so this is the rush to hurry up and get the aquaponics system going, is because with that load of fish in here, the water's not going to be healthy for a long time, even though I've got tons of aquatic plants in there. You can see the tilapia, they're at the bottom. They're very small. Only about an inch or 2 inches. Oh, there's one about 2 inches, maybe 2.5. And so, you know, this is designed to be an aquaponics system. That's why it's overstocked with fish. We're not at an overstocking point yet, but we will be if we don't hurry up. It's kind of fun. You know, I still got the plastic over the entrance, and I haven't finished the pond. You know, when you do a pond, you don't want any liner showing. But this is just where we are right now. I'm not going to remove that plastic until I get the, because there's glass on the inside of that, and that's how the fish swim inside the cob house. But I'm not going to remove that until I fix the temperatures in here. It still gets pretty darn hot. Not as bad as 130, but it'll still get into. Yesterday, there was no wind. And in here, it probably got up to about 112, which, you know, is still bad, but it's a heck of a lot better. So anyway, that's kind of an update. And then, of course, I've still got to do the upstairs, and that'll be on the upstairs, solidifying or fixing the plastic so that it has a hoop so the tie downs keep the plastic from flapping in the wind. And that's about it for an update for the moment. It's getting hot, which means I got to hurry up and get out here. I want to put 3 or 4 trees in today, which is not the best day to do it. It's going to be over 100 today, but I don't really have a choice. We're in some sort of an early heat wave, and I've got lots of things I got to plant. So anyways, Gerard, GGWT, that's where we are for the moment. You guys have a great day.